Take cover. It's the Human Sharpshooter Part 2. The outlaw's reputation, 6 months had passed since Lieutenant Olivia Martinez crashed on Terrax 9. She was no longer the frightened survivor of the USS Intrepid. Now, many people across the frontier, worlds knew her as Ghost Shot, a human mercenary with deadly accuracy. Martinez wiped dust from her rifle scope as she watched the busy market square below. The trading post of Helios Ridge was crowded with beings from a dozen different worlds. She could spot at least 3 Zentari soldiers moving through the crowd, their blue skin standing out among the other aliens. Target approaching, Krazul whispered beside her. After months together, the renegade Zentari had become a trusted ally. Arms dealer, 3rd level. Martinez shifted her aim to a balcony where a large, tentacled alien was meeting with several hooded figures. Even from this distance, she could see the weapons being exchanged. Confederation pulse rifles meant for the black market. Wind speed? She asked quietly. 2.6 knots, western direction, Krazul replied. After months of working with Martinez, he had learned to measure conditions that affected her shooting. Martinez took a slow breath and squeezed the trigger. The rifle barely made a sound, modified with parts they had collected over months of jobs. Across the square, the energy cell in the dealer's sample weapon shattered, causing a small explosion that scattered the group but harmed no one. Message delivered, Martinez said, already packing up her position. The warning shot would stop. The deal without bloodshed, exactly what their employer had paid for. As they slipped away from their perch, Krazul checked a small device on his wrist. Payment received. Also 3 new job offers. Martinez nodded. Their reputation had grown with each impossible shot. She had become something of a legend, the human sharpshooter who could make shots that Zentari targeting computers calculated as impossible. Any word from your contacts about Earthships? She asked as they moved through back alleys toward their hidden shuttle. Nothing certain. Rumors of human vessels near the Proxima sector, but Confederation keeps them away from major trade routes. Martinez frowned. Finding a way to contact Earth forces had proven difficult. The Confederation controlled most communication networks, and any unauthorized transmissions were quickly traced. As they reached the landing pad where their small ship was docked, Martinez noticed something unusual. A human ship. The vessel was battered but clearly of Earth design with the name Wayward Star painted on its hull. Krazul, she said, pointing. Look. The Zentari followed her gaze and tensed. Caution. Could be trap. They approached carefully, weapons ready. As they got closer, the ship's loading ramp lowered, and a tall man with dark skin and a short beard appeared. I'll be damned, the man said in English. The rumors are true. A human running with a Zentari. He held up his hands to show he was unarmed. Captain Eric Donovan of the independent freighter Wayward Star. And you must be the ghost shot I've been hearing about. Martinez kept her rifle ready but not aimed. How did you find me? Wasn't looking for you specifically, Donovan replied. We're here for supplies, but your reputation? That's spread across a dozen systems, the human who can outshoot any Zentari marksman? People talk. Martinez studied him carefully. After months of being hunted, she had learned to be cautious. What's Earth's position with the Confederation? Tense, Donovan said. After the Intrepid incident, there have been skirmishes along the border systems. Earth's preparing for war, but they're outgunned and outmanned. He looked at Krazul. Interesting company you keep. He saved my life, Martinez said simply. Not all Zentari agree with their council's decisions. Before they could continue, alarms began to sound across the port. Krazul checked his wrist device again, his eyes widening. Confederation patrol ships, he said urgently. 3 cruisers entering orbit. Someone reported your presence. Donovan cursed. They just boarded my ship for inspection. My crew. How? Many? Martinez asked. 5. Good people. Martinez made a quick decision. Then we help them. Then you help us contact Earth. Krazul looked concerned. Entire patrol? Too dangerous. We don't need to fight them all, Martinez said, already checking her ammunition. Just create enough confusion to get your people out, she told Donovan. Within minutes, Confederation forces began sweeping through the port, clearing civilians and searching ships. Martinez, Krazul, and Donovan watched from a hidden position between cargo containers. 20 soldiers, Krazul whispered. 2 commanders, all with targeting systems. And that's their weakness, Martinez replied. She had learned that Zentari soldiers relied heavily on their technology, helmet displays that calculated trajectories and suggested firing solutions. Without them, their natural aim was poor compared to humans. I need a distraction, she told Donovan. Something to draw their attention away from your ship. Donovan nodded. I can trigger a pressure alarm in the fuel depot. It'll keep some of them busy. Go, Martinez said. When you hear the first shot, move to your ship. As Donovan slipped away, Martinez found her position. From atop a stack of containers, she could see the entire landing area. 6 Centauri soldiers were guarding the Wayward Star, while others searched nearby vessels. Ready? She asked Krazul, who had positioned himself closer to the ship. Ready? He confirmed through their communicators. An alarm blared from the far side of the port. Several soldiers ran toward the fuel depot just as planned. Martinez took aim at the main power junction for the landing area. One shot. The junction exploded in sparks and the landing pad lights went dark. In the confusion, Martinez fired 5 more times in rapid succession. Each shot hit a specific target. Not the soldiers themselves, but their helmet systems. With their targeting aids disabled, the Zentari guards were left with natural ability only. And as Martinez had learned, most Zentari couldn't hit a target beyond close range without computer assistance. Krazul moved in, using the confusion to reach the ship. Martinez continued firing precise shots, hitting weapons, communication devices, and more targeting systems. Not killing shots, just disabling ones. When Donovan returned, they fought their way to his ship.
Inside, they found his crew being held by 2 Zentari soldiers. Martinez entered first, weapon raised. Targeting systems or natural aim, she called out in the Zentari language she had learned from Krazul. The soldiers hesitated, confused by a human speaking their language.
If it's natural, you might hit me, Martinez continued, stepping forward. If it's your computers, I've already disabled the connection. One soldier fired. The shot went wide, missing Martinez by a full meter, confirming what she had said. Before they could fire again, Martinez took both down with stunning shots that disabled their weapons without killing them. Minutes later, the Wayward Star lifted off, escaping the planet before the Confederation could organize a proper response. In the ship's main cabin, Donovan's crew looked at Martinez with a mixture of fear and awe. I've never seen shooting like that, a woman named Laura said. Not even in the military. Donovan nodded. Now I understand why the Zentari are so worried about humans. It's not our technology they fear. It's us, Martinez said simply. Our natural abilities. As the Wayward Star jumped to faster-than-light travel, Martinez felt hope for the first time in months. With Donovan's help, she might finally contact Earth and reveal the Confederation's weakness. That in a galaxy where most species relied on technology for accuracy, humans with their natural skills represented something truly dangerous. The legend of the human sharpshooter was about to spread far beyond the frontier worlds. Take cover. It's the Human Sharpshooter Part 1. First Contact Lieutenant Olivia Martinez stared at the blinking red lights on her shuttle's control panel. The small escape pod was barely holding together as she guided it through the thick atmosphere of Terrax 9. Behind her, the remains of the USS Intrepid floated in space, destroyed by weapons she had never seen before. Just 6 hours ago, Martinez had been at her communication station, monitoring signals from nearby systems. The Intrepid was on a peaceful mission to establish contact with alien civilizations. No one expected an attack. Brace for landing, she muttered to herself as the shuttle shook violently. The ground rushed up to meet her, and she pulled hard on the controls. The shuttle skidded across rocky terrain before coming to a stop at The edge of a strange purple forest. Martinez sat still for a moment, catching her breath. She was the only survivor. Captain Lee, Commander Jackson, and the rest of the crew, all gone. Her hands trembled as she checked her supplies. A standard-issue pistol, a hunting rifle she had brought for target practice during shore leave, 3 days of emergency rations, and a portable communications device. The air on Terrax 9 was breathable, according to the shuttle's sensors. Martinez stepped outside, rifle in hand, and looked around. The sky had a greenish tint and 2 small moons were visible even in daylight. Need to find high ground, she said to herself. Set up a distress signal. As a communications specialist, Martinez knew her best chance was to boost her comm device's signal from an elevated position. But as an experienced shooter who had competed in Earth's marksmanship championships, she also knew better than to move without scouting the area first. She climbed a nearby hill and lay flat on her stomach, looking through her rifle's scope to survey the landscape. In the distance, she could see smoke rising from what looked like buildings. A settlement. Before she could decide whether to approach it, she noticed movement in the forest below. Something was tracking her shuttle's landing. Oh. 3 tall, slender beings emerged from the purple vegetation. Their skin had a bluish tone and they wore what looked like armor. Each carried a weapon that glowed with strange energy. Martinez recognized them immediately from the briefing files. Centauri, the same species that had attacked the Intrepid. Martinez remained perfectly still, controlling her breathing as she had learned in shooting competitions. The Centauri moved with caution, examining the shuttle and speaking in clicks and whistles she couldn't understand. One of them, taller than the others, pointed in different directions, clearly giving orders. They were searching for survivors. Martinez had 2 choices: try to hide or use her position to eliminate the threat. Her military training told her to stay hidden. She was outnumbered and on an alien planet. But these were the beings who had killed her friends, her crewmates. She lined up her shot carefully, remembering everything she had learned about distance, wind, and gravity. This planet might be different from Earth, but the principles were the same. Martinez took a deep breath, held it, and squeezed the trigger. The rifle cracked, and the lead Centauri dropped instantly. The other 2 spun around, scanning frantically for the source of the attack. Martinez adjusted her aim and fired again. The second Centauri fell. The third one was smarter. It dove behind the shuttle, using it as cover. Martinez remained patient, keeping her scope trained on the area. Minutes passed, then surprisingly, a voice called out in broken English, "Human shooter, hold your fire!" Martinez didn't respond, but kept her finger near the trigger. "I seek no conflict. Others coming soon. Many others." After a moment of consideration, Martinez called back, "Step out slowly, hands visible." The Centauri emerged cautiously, arms held high in a surprisingly human gesture of surrender. Its weapons had been set down. "My name is Krazul. I served, aboard ship that attacked your vessel." Martinez felt anger burn inside her. "Why? Did you attack us? We were on a peaceful mission." Krazul moved closer, still keeping his hands visible. "Fear. Our leaders fear humans." Martinez almost laughed. "Fear us? Your technology is years beyond ours." "Not technology." Krazul pointed at her rifle. "That shot, from this distance, no targeting computer?" "It's just a standard hunting rifle with a scope." Krazul made a sound that might have been disbelief. "Centauri cannot shoot like this without computers. No species in Confederation can. Natural accuracy like humans. It frightens our council." Martinez kept her rifle trained on Krazul. "So you attacked us because we can aim well?" "Your species. Natural predators. Eyes in front of head. Depth perception, timing, spatial awareness, all superior. Makes you dangerous." Before Martinez could respond, a distant humming sound filled the air. Krazul looked up, alarmed. "Search ships. They find your shuttle soon. Kill you, study you, learn human weaknesses." "Why are you telling me this?" Martinez asked, suspicious. "I disagree with council decision. Attack on peaceful ship. Dishonorable." He seemed genuinely troubled. "I can help hide. Know this planet. used for training. Martinez weighed her options. Stay alone on an unknown world with Zentari forces hunting her, or trust this apparently renegade alien. If you try anything, you've seen what I can do with this rifle, she warned. Krazul nodded. Your skill proves Council right to fear humans, now must use skill to survive. Follow me. No caves nearby. Martinez gathered her supplies from the shuttle and disabled its tracking beacon. As they moved into the dense purple forest, the sound of Zentari ships grew louder. How many humans shoot like you? Krazul asked as they traveled. Many, Martinez answered. Which wasn't exactly true. She had been in the top percentile of shooting, competitions on Earth. But the alien didn't need to know that. Council right then, Krazul muttered. Species of natural snipers. They reached a narrow opening in a rock face, barely visible behind thick vegetation. Inside, the cave expanded into a larger space. Safe here for now, Krazul said. Ships cannot scan through mineral and rocks. Martinez kept her distance, rifle still ready. So what's your plan? Why help me? Zentari Confederation controls 7 species across 50 systems. Some joined willingly. Others. He made a cutting gesture across his throat. I believe peaceful. Contact better. But now with attack on your ship, war coming. One ship against your entire confederation? Martinez asked. Doesn't seem like much of a war. Zentari leaders not afraid of your ships, afraid of humans themselves. Krazul pointed at her rifle again. That natural skill. Imagine whole army with such accuracy. No other species has this. For the first time since the attack, Martinez felt a glimmer of hope. If the Zentari truly feared human abilities, perhaps Earth had a chance when they eventually came in force. If I help you survive, get message to your people, perhaps prevent full war, Krazul continued. Or at least give your people fighting chance. Outside, the whine of search ships grew closer, then began to fade as they moved away from the shuttle. First lesson about Terax 9, Krazul said. Night's very cold, need fire, but ships look for heat signatures. Martinez nodded. Then we move at night, hide during day. Krazul made a gesture she couldn't interpret. Smart. Like hunter. I am a hunter, Martinez said, checking her rifle again. And now it seems I'm the hunted. As darkness began to fall on the alien planet, Lieutenant Olivia Martinez, the last survivor of the USS Intrepid, realized that her skills as a sharpshooter might be more valuable than she had ever imagined, not just for her survival, but potentially for the survival of humanity itself. Take cover. It's the Human Sharpshooter Part 4. The Human Advantage Admiral Samantha Collins stared at the video playing on the main screen of Earth Defense Fleet headquarters. The footage showed a human woman taking impossible shots with what looked like a modified hunting rifle. Each shot hit targets that the most advanced Zentari weapon systems struggled to track. Play it again, Collins ordered. The room fell silent as they watched Lieutenant Olivia Martinez, believed dead after the destruction of the USS Intrepid, demonstrating shooting skills that seemed almost supernatural. The data packet came through 3 quantum relays, explained Commander Ryan Porter, head of intelligence. It's legitimate. This is why the Confederation has been avoiding direct combat with our ships. For months, Earth forces had been preparing for war by developing better targeting computers to match Zentari technology. Now they realized they had been focusing on the wrong advantage. Get me everything we have on marksmanship training, Collins said. And find me our best shooters. We need to change our approach immediately. Within days, the Earth Defense Fleet began implementing new training protocols. Instead of relying on targeting computers, human gunners were taught to use their natural abilities. Collins had all automated targeting systems reconfigured to assist human aim rather than replace it. Meanwhile, the wayward star raced toward Earth space, avoiding Confederation patrols. Martinez spent the journey teaching Donovan's crew the shooting, techniques she had perfected during her months on the run. It's not just about hand-eye coordination, she explained as they practiced in the ship's cargo hold. It's about understanding how objects move through space. Humans naturally track moving targets better than any species in the Confederation. Krazul watched with fascination. In Zentari culture, We rely on technology from childhood. Our natural abilities weaken. Humans kept their instincts sharp. As they approached the edge of Earth-controlled space, they received an emergency broadcast. The first major battle between Earth and Confederation forces was imminent near a planet called Vega 4. "We need to get there," Martinez said. "They need to see what we can do firsthand." Donovan plotted a dangerous course through a nebula to avoid detection. The journey was risky, but they reached Vega 4 just as the battle was beginning. From their position, they could see the Earth fleet was outnumbered 3-1. Confederation ships had better weapons, better shields, and more advanced technology. But as Martinez watched, she noticed something unusual about the Earth ships' attack patterns. "They're not using standard targeting," she said, studying the tactical display. "They're shooting manually." Earth ships were firing in ways that confused Confederation targeting systems. Human gunners were making shots that computer systems calculated as inefficient or impossible, hitting vulnerabilities that automated systems would ignore. The Wayward Star sent their identification codes to the Earth flagship, requesting immediate communication. After a tense wait, they were granted permission to dock during the battle. Admiral Collins met them personally in the docking bay. "Lieutenant Martinez," she said, "your broadcast reached us. We've been implementing your techniques, but we need more." Martinez nodded. "I can help train your gunners directly, and Krazul has information about Confederation ship weaknesses that their own targeting systems are programmed to ignore." Within hours, Martinez was working with the flagship's gunners, showing them techniques she had developed. Shots that curved around obstacles, firing through narrow gaps in shields, hitting moving targets with predictive accuracy that no computer could match. "Computers calculate linear paths," she explained to the gunners. "Human eyes can see possibilities. We can visualize how a shot might bounce or curve. We can sense when a target will move before it does." The battle continued for 2 days. Earth ships were damaged, but they inflicted unprecedented casualties on the Confederation fleet. For the first time, the technologically superior aliens found themselves at a disadvantage. Martinez worked without rest, moving from ship to train gunners. By the end of the second day, the Confederation forces retreated, something they had never done before. In the aftermath, Admiral Collins called a strategy meeting with all ship captains. Martinez and Krazul were invited to attend. "The Confederation is regrouping," Collins explained. "But for the first time, we have them worried. Lieutenant Martinez's techniques have proven more effective than any technology we could have developed." The plan was clear. Earth would form a new specialized unit. The Ghostwalkers went with Martinez as their trainer. Every ship would have a team of human sharpshooters who could outperform Confederation targeting systems. Meanwhile, news of the human advantage spread through Confederation space. Krazul received messages from contacts on several worlds. Some Confederation species, particularly those more recently brought under Zentari control, were questioning their allegiance. "The Mori people have already reached out for secret talks," and Krazul told Martinez. "They were forced into the Confederation 50 years ago. Now they see humans as potential allies." Admiral Collins saw an opportunity. "We don't need to defeat the entire Confederation. We just need to break their unity." Martinez began training the first Ghostwalker units. Her methods were unlike anything in standard military training. She taught them to shoot without computer assistance, to trust their instincts, to understand how the environment affected their shots. "Forget what the targeting computer tells you," she instructed a class of recruits. "What do your eyes tell you? What does your gut tell you?" The recruits struggled at first. They had relied on technology for so long that their natural abilities had weakened. But as days passed, they improved rapidly. Soon they were making shots that Confederation systems would calculate as impossible. Word spread through the fleet. More volunteers joined the Ghostwalkers. Even ship captains came to learn Martinez's techniques. 1 month after the Battle of Vega 4, Earth intelligence detected Confederation forces gathering for a massive assault. This would be the largest battle of the war, perhaps the decisive one. "They're bringing everything they have," Admiral Collins told her commanders. "They've realized the threat we pose." Martinez looked at the tactical display showing the gathering Confederation fleet. They still outnumbered Earth forces, and their technology was still superior. But now Earth had something the Confederation feared more than any weapon: humans who understood their own natural advantages. "They think technology always beats nature," Martinez said. "We're about to prove them wrong." As Earth forces prepared for the coming battle, Martinez felt a strange sense of purpose. What had started as a desperate fight for survival had become a mission to save humanity by reminding humans what made them special in the first place. The final confrontation was coming, and the human sharpshooter was ready. "Take cover. It's the human sharpshooter Part 3. The demonstration. This plan is suicide," Krezul said as he studied the holographic map of Nexus Prime, the Confederation's military headquarters. Lieutenant Olivia Martinez, Captain Eric Donovan, and the crew of the Wayward Star had spent a month preparing for this mission. Their goal was bold: infiltrate the Confederation's Central Command Center during a strategic summit and show all 7 alien species why humans were truly dangerous. "Maybe," Martinez admitted. "But if we don't do this, Earth will try to match Zentari technology instead of using our real advantage." The Wayward Star had successfully contacted an Earth outpost 2 weeks earlier. The news had been grim. Earth forces were building more advanced targeting systems, trying to compete with Confederation technology. They didn't understand that their natural human abilities were their greatest weapon. "We need to show them all at once," Donovan said. "All 7 species need to see what humans can do naturally without computers." Laura, Donovan's pilot, pointed at the hologram. "The security is impossible to beat. 3 layers of guards, automated defense systems, and energy shields." "Not impossible," Martinez said. "Just difficult, and they'll be expecting weapons that match theirs. Not this." She patted her modified rifle, which looked primitive compared to Zentari technology, but was deadly accurate in her hands. Their plan was risky. The Wayward Star would pose as a supply ship, using identification codes Krezul had stolen. While Donovan's crew created a distraction in the loading bay, Martinez and Krezul would enter the Central Command Center where delegates from all Confederation species were meeting. 3 days later, they approached Nexus Prime. The massive space station orbited a red giant star, surrounded by defense satellites and patrol ships. "Identification codes transmitting," Laura said from the pilot's seat. "Now we wait." Martinez checked her equipment one last time. Her rifle had been disguised to look like a standard maintenance tool. She carried minimal ammunition. She wouldn't need much if her shots were perfect. "Clearance granted," Laura announced, sounding surprised. "They're guiding us to loading bay 12. As they docked with the station, everyone grew quiet. If they were caught, there would be no escape. 30 minutes, Donovan reminded them. "The distraction lasts 30 minutes. After that, you're on your own." Martinez nodded. She and Krezul slipped out of the ship wearing stolen maintenance uniforms. They moved through service corridors that Krezul had memorized from stolen plans. "First checkpoint," Krezul whispered, as they approached a security scanner. They waited until a group of real maintenance workers approached, then blended in with them. The scanner passed over them, and they continued deeper into the station. In the distance, they heard an explosion. Donovan's distraction had begun, a small fire in the loading bay that would keep security busy. "Guards ahead," Krezul warned, as they neared the command center. 4 of them. Martinez nodded. "Wait here." She moved forward alone, pretending to check a panel on the wall. When the guards looked away, she assembled her rifle from the parts hidden in her maintenance kit. 4. Shots 4 disabled weapons. The guards turned in shock as their guns sparked and died in their hands. Before they could react, Krezul appeared behind them, using a stun device to knock them unconscious. 22 minutes left, he said as they dragged the guards into a storage room. The main doors to the command center were locked, but Krezul had prepared for this. He placed a small device on the control panel, and the doors slid open just enough for them to slip through. The sight inside took Martinez's breath away. The command center was enormous, a circular room with 7 raised platforms surrounding a central holographic display. On each platform stood representatives of the Confederation species: the Zentari, the insect-like Trivax, the gaseous Mori, and 4 others Martinez didn't recognize. They were arguing, their translators converting their words into a common language. The humans must be contained, a Zentari leader was saying. Their natural abilities make them too dangerous if they ever develop technology to match ours. Martinez looked up at the complex lighting system that illuminated the room. It consisted of hundreds of small floating orbs that created patterns of light and shadow across the chamber. "Perfect," she whispered. She raised her rifle. Krazul looked alarmed. "You're not shooting the leaders?" Martinez shook her head. "Something better." Her first shot hit one of the light orbs, causing it to dim. The delegates didn't notice, continuing their heated debate. Her second shot hit another orb, then another and another. With precise, rapid firing, Martinez began creating a pattern. The lights dimmed in specific places, creating shadows that formed letters in the Confederation's common writing system. It took the delegates several minutes to notice what was happening. The message spreading across the ceiling in shadow and light read, "Humans don't need computers to aim." Chaos erupted as the delegates realized someone had infiltrated the meeting. Security alarms blared, but Martinez was already moving to phase 2 of her plan. She and Krazul raced to the central communications array. Guards tried to stop them, but Martinez disabled their weapons with precise shots while Krazul fought off those who got too close. They reached the communications room as the station went into lockdown. Martinez covered the door, while Krazul worked feverishly at the controls. "How much longer?" she asked, taking down another guard with a shot that disabled his helmet systems. "Almost there," Krazul replied. "Broadcasting in 3, 2, 1. Across the station, screens flickered to life. The broadcast showed split-screen footage. On one side, Zentari marksmen firing with their advanced targeting systems. On the other, recordings of Martinez making impossible shots with her simple rifle. Krazul's voice narrated in the Confederation language. "The Zentari Council fears humans not for their technology, but for their natural abilities. A human with a primitive weapon can outshoot our best soldiers with advanced systems." The broadcast continued, showing Martinez's shots during various missions, hitting targets through storms, around corners, at distances that Confederation targeting computers calculated as impossible. "We must reconsider war with humanity," Krazul's message concluded. "Their natural evolution has created abilities our technology cannot match." The broadcast went to every Confederation world, every outpost, and, thanks to Donovan's modifications to the system, to human settlements as well. "Time to go," Martinez said as more guards approached their position. They fought their way back through the station, now in full alert. At one junction, they were cut off by a squad of Zentari soldiers. "Surrender, human," the squad leader ordered. Martinez fired twice, hitting the ceiling panels above the soldiers. The panels collapsed, blocking the corridor without harming anyone. "We're not going to make it back to the ship," Krazul said as they reached another blocked passage. "We don't need to," Martinez replied. "The message is sent. That was the mission." They found an emergency shuttle bay and hijacked a small vessel. As they launched away from the station, Confederation ships moved to intercept them. "Can you outfly them?" Martinez asked. Krazul shook his head. "Not for long." Martinez smiled. "We don't need long." The wayward star appeared from behind a moon, racing toward them. The shuttle docked with the larger ship in a risky mid-flight maneuver, and they jumped to light speed just as Confederation weapons locked onto them. In the wayward star's cabin, Donovan greeted them with a grin. "Message received across 12 systems. You two just started a revolution." As they raced away from Nexus Prime, Martinez knew that throughout the sector, both humans and Confederation species were seeing the truth. The myth of Confederation superiority was crumbling, and humanity's greatest strength wasn't technology but the natural abilities they had taken for granted. The human sharpshooter had just fired the opening shot in a very different kind of war. "Take cover. It's the Human Sharpshooter Part 5. The shot heard across the stars. The space around Proxima Ridge glowed with the lights of hundreds of ships. The Confederation had gathered its entire fleet for what they hoped would be the final battle against humanity. Their massive vessels formed a wall of metal and energy that stretched as far as the eye could see. Earth's fleet was smaller, with fewer ships and less advanced technology. But in the 3 months since Lieutenant Olivia Martinez had revealed humanity's natural advantage, much had changed. "All Ghostwalker units report ready," announced Commander Ryan Porter from his station on the bridge of the flagship. Admiral Samantha Collins nodded. "And our new ships?" "The 6 strike vessels are in position," Porter confirmed. "Lieutenant Martinez is leading Alpha Team from the Harrier." The strike vessels were a new type of ship, small, fast, and designed specifically for human sharpshooters. They carried minimal weapons but had advanced shielding and could move in ways that confused Confederation targeting systems. From the bridge of the Harrier, Martinez watched the Confederation fleet through a special viewing port. She had personally selected and trained the 20 sharpshooters on board. Each was equipped with a custom weapon that used their natural abilities rather than computer targeting. "They've spotted the strike vessels," reported Laura, who had left the Wayward Star to join Martinez's team. "They're moving to intercept," Martinez smiled. "Just as we planned. Are the ECM systems ready?" "Electronic countermeasures active," confirmed Krazul, who now served as the team's tactical advisor. "Their targeting computers will be useless in 30 seconds. This was the key to their strategy. Earth scientists had developed systems that could jam the signals between Confederation ships and their targeting computers. Without those computers, their natural aim was poor, while humans could still shoot accurately. "All teams prepare to engage," Martinez ordered. "Remember your training. Trust your eyes, not the computer." The battle began with a massive energy barrage from the Confederation fleet. But with their targeting disrupted, most shots missed the smaller Earth vessels. The main Earth fleet hung back, letting the strike vessels draw the enemy's fire. Martinez's ship darted between the massive Confederation vessels. Her team fired precise shots at key systems, weapons controls, shield generators, and communication arrays. They didn't need to destroy the ships, just disable them. "Flagship identified," Krazul announced, pointing to a massive vessel near the center of the enemy fleet. "That's the Supreme Commander's ship." Martinez studied it through her scope. The Confederation flagship was heavily shielded and surrounded by defensive vessels. It would be impossible to approach directly. "There's another way," she said, studying the battle unfolding around them. "Laura, can you get us to Asteroid Field Delta?" The pilot nodded. "Risky but possible." The Harrier changed course, speeding toward a dense field of space debris. Confederation ships followed, but their larger size made maneuvering difficult. "What's the plan?" asked Greg, one of her sharpshooters. Martinez pointed to a series of reflective metal fragments floating in the debris field. "Physics lesson. When a laser beam hits a reflective surface at the right angle, it bounces," Greg finished, understanding. "You want to bank a shot." 3 banks, actually," Martinez said. "From here, to that fragment, to the piece of hull, floating near their fleet, and through the viewport on their flagship. Their shields stopped direct fire but not reflected beams." The team looked at her in disbelief. "That's impossible," one of them said. "Even for you. Confederation engineers think so too," Martinez replied with a smile. "That's why they haven't protected against it." She moved to the weapons station and began making calculations, not with computers but with her eyes and instincts. She studied how the fragments moved, how light played across their surfaces. "Krazul, what's the status of the flagship's command center?" she asked. He checked his display. "Supreme Commander has opened communications. He's demanding Earth's surrender." "Perfect. Timing," Martinez said. She took position at the main weapon controls. The Harrier had been equipped with a special laser system designed for precision rather than power. "All crews hold position," she ordered. "I need absolute stability for this shot." The ship went still. Even the engines powered down to minimize vibration. Martinez took a deep breath, focusing entirely on the shot. She could see the path in her mind, the beam traveling from their ship, reflecting off the first fragment, bouncing to the second, then to the third, and finally through the viewport of the Confederation flagship. She squeezed the trigger. The laser fired, invisible except for a brief flash at the barrel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, on their tactical display, they saw the energy readings of the Confederation flagship fluctuate wildly. "Direct hit," Krazul exclaimed. "You hit the neural command node. Their central systems are failing." The massive flagship's lights flickered. Its weapons went silent. Without the Supreme Commander's coordination, the Confederation fleet fell into confusion. "All ships, press the advantage," Admiral Collins ordered. From the main fleet, Earth vessels moved forward, human gunners making shots that Confederation defenses couldn't predict. One by one, enemy ships were disabled or forced to retreat. 3 hours later, it was over. The remaining Confederation ships jumped away, leaving the battlefield to the Earth fleet. On the bridge of the flagship, Admiral Collins received the message they had been waiting for. The Confederation Council was requesting peace talks. "They're offering terms," she told Martinez, who had been brought aboard after the battle. "Recognition of Earth's territorial rights and independence for any world that wishes to leave the Confederation." Martinez nodded. "And the reason for this sudden change of heart?" "Your shot," Collins explained. "Their engineers have confirmed it was physically impossible according to their calculations. No targeting computer could have made it. They're calling it the shot heard across the stars. It's convinced them they can't win against human abilities." In the weeks that followed, peace settled across the sector. The Confederation remained, but with less territory and power. Several worlds declared independence, forming new alliances with Earth. Martinez declined offers of admiralty and political positions. Instead, she established a training academy for sharpshooters. To her surprise, students came not just from Earth but from other species as well. "They want to learn from you," Krazul explained as they watched a group of young aliens attempting to shoot without targeting aids. "You've shown them what's possible without technology." The academy was built on Terrax 9, the planet where Martinez had first crashed after the Intrepid attack. It seemed fitting that her journey would come full circle. "Do you think they'll ever match human abilities?" she asked Krazul as they watched the students practice. "Perhaps not naturally," he admitted, "but you've taught them something more important. Not to depend solely on technology, to trust their instincts." As she walked among the students from a dozen different worlds, Martinez reflected on the strange path that had led her here. From a communications officer to a legendary sharpshooter who had changed the balance of power among the stars. Her skill with a rifle had saved humanity, but in the end, her greatest contribution was reminding everyone, human and alien alike, that technology alone was never enough. The true power came from the natural abilities that each species possessed. The legend of the human sharpshooter would live on, not as a story of war, but as a lesson about the remarkable capabilities that evolution, determination, and trust in one's own abilities could produce.